imagine being in Russia, like we'll just say Russia, and you don't want to be in the war, but you're forced to go into war. Imagine being in Ukraine. You never wanted war, but now you have to fight for your country.
It's true.
Things like that, just having gunshots fly by you. And our biggest issue around like us that we see is someone gets offended that they didn't get called the right gender in EB games.
Yeah.
And I think, mate, if that's our biggest issue...
Well, that's creating a bit of a controversy at the moment.
It is Morokaii. It's yours. We're back. We're on every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 7 a.m. on Spotify and 4:30 p.m. on YouTube. Don't look at me like that.
Oh, I'm just happy to be back here. We
felt the energy.
Yeah, we catch up, for those of you who don't know. It's usually a Thursday and a Sunday. And I know Thursday and Sunday there's a short space in between, but Sunday to Thursday, it's just a long time without actually getting to sit down and just chat about anything with your best mate.
Oh, 100%.
And it's just nice just covering here. The aircon's on, by the way, one of the best purchases.
It was a great purchase in the home.
Amazing. I don't think the listeners know, or the viewers on YouTube know, how hot and sweaty this room would get prior to this aircon. It is a game changer. I'm sitting here in comfort. We were doing some podcasts, and by like the third one, if not the fourth one of the night, it's genuinely like, my mind is fried. I'm losing my marbles and I cannot sit still.
Yeah, the one we did with my girlfriend, Rage, I think 3 podcasts in, we just couldn't stop saying how hot it was. We were just like, oh my God, so hot.
It's nice to be in comfort. But the other thing as well,
what
were on good purchases, which it's a weird way to lead in today's pod. A Yeti water bottle. I'm sorry, but ladies and gentlemen, my girlfriend, Ali, bought me this. Your girlfriend bought you one as well, Rage. They're just... If you haven't already, seriously get one. I cannot stress it enough. One of the best water bottles I've ever had in my life, if not one of the greatest presents I've ever received.
They're very styling. I feel very, I feel like an accomplished man when I'm drinking out of my Yeti drink
people
bottle.
just, I feel like I've got more respect.
I'm not grabbing that 600ml water bottle shit.
Yeah, no way. Just leave it in the, leave a plastic 600ml water bottle in the fridge. I'm like tongue twisted just saying that. I know. What's wrong with me in pronouncing words?
I remember once ages back when I was watching like Sunrise, and I guess they were just trying to get into that gotcha journalism, and they had someone that, you know, created the water bottles for the 600ml water, like your classic one, could be any, and the journalist, like, it had to be something, maybe it was Kochi, right?
Oh, it would be.
He loves a bit of mischief, doesn't he?
He does.
And Kochi was pretty much going at him like, so you're telling me that you just get water out of this river and you just put it in these bottles and you mark it up for a price? And he's like, well, no, there's a bit more that goes into it, but yeah. So he's like, so you're pretty much selling people on just the plastic, and you what, $2 a bottle? Doesn't that seem a bit of a rip off? And he's like, mate, it's about convenience. What are you talking about? Like, and yes, that's exactly what it is.
Every water brand ever.
Yeah, but I don't get it. What did he? It's like the night before he studied. He's like, I think I'm going to crack the code. They're grabbing water from the river. Hold on with me here. I think I've figured it out. Yeah, I know it's a long shot.
Riveting stuff.
And they're putting it in just these cheap plastic bottles that they've made. And from my math, I think the plastic bottles, they'd be cents, pennies on the dollar. And they're charging for $2. That's like a 200% profit. Nah, I'm going to get him. And the guy was like standing there going, what is the scheme? Yes, we do. We're charging for convenience. That's it. And if you don't like it, buy a water bottle.
Should I just say, why is Australia so bad with their journos?
Because they have to catch up with everyone else.
So many shocking, terrible stories. You can log into Facebook like day in and day out. The stuff they are reporting is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't groundbreaking. It's like one article today is like, oh, you know the guy that killed Thor in bloody... what, Endgame on Fortnite? We found out who the person was. I'm like, why is this even a fucking article?
Yeah,
who actually reads this shit?
That's like I thought that I thought the exact same thing when I saw I think it was today. They did a news article. No, they did a news segment on the fact that there was a woman who was trying to get everyone to make sure that when they're changing their baby's diaper, they get consent from the baby. And she was genuine about it, right? But I looked at that and I went, how is this news? And I'm like, oh, you know exactly what you're doing. That many people are going to be the exact same as me, and then comment on the Facebook post.
That's true, actually.
And then
it gets traction.
Exactly. Now
it actually gets the clicks that it needs.
Even if you get a few followers, and everyone is going to go, this is ridiculous, but you're getting the clicks.
That's so... The latest Impulsive, Nick Kyrgios was on it. Have you listened to that yet, like fully?
With Logan Paul.
Yeah, Mike Malak and George.
Yeah, no, I've listened to about 15 minutes of it.
Okay, so later on in the podcast, basically Nick comes out and he's like, oh, I guarantee I'll say something on this pod and somehow they'll write a story about it. So later on in the pod, they basically just talk conspiracy theories. Fox Sports, I reckon half an hour after this podcast is dropped, article, Nick Kyrgios doesn't believe that people landed on the moon. Fox Sports. That has got nothing to do, like, again, like, what is that gutter rubbish? Like, why? It's not even a story. And then people are commenting on that, though, being like, he's a tennis player. Why is he commenting on this sort of stuff? And it's like, and you're just a fucking average office day person. Have you been on the fucking moon, Fred? Like, come on.
Man, I thought, mate, do you know what I thought about the other day? We are extremely lucky. And sometimes you really have to put it into context and go like, no. Like,
as in our lives?
Our lives are...
Yes, agreed.
Are so lucky. I'm talking like Australia, America.
Where we're living.
It's just...
How we've been brought up, grown, like the
environment, world, everything.
Like, yeah, we're not in the Middle Ages. Like, we've got all this equipment surrounding us. We've got power technology as such, like good education as well.
Exactly. And if you go to other countries where there's literally war.
Yeah, less privileged.
There's people that... I saw once a doco where there was this village. These families worked every day to be able to just pay for the meals for that day. So they were working to survive.
Imagine getting sick and you're just like, oh no.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
That's...
dental. Something simple as dental. Well, you can't get dental. And man, I was thinking about it and I go, okay, imagine being in Russia, like we'll just say Russia, and you don't want to be in the war, but you're forced to go into war. Imagine being in Ukraine. You never wanted war, but now you have to fight for your country.
It's true.
Things like that, just having gunshots fly by you. And our biggest issue around like us that we see is someone gets offended that they didn't get called the right gender in EB games.
Yeah.
And I think, mate, if that's our biggest issue...
Well, that's creating a bit of a controversy at the moment because Jeffree Star has come out either today or yesterday on a podcast and said that the whole pronoun stuff is a load of shit.
There's going to be a big switch at some point.
Oh, wow. Like, that's pretty big. Like, because he's got a large following, and just because of the person that whoever Jeffree Star identifies as, he is. I was like, holy fuck, this is big.
Yeah. But I could imagine if someone is going on a massive... Like, okay, for example... Perfect. The Harry Potter game.
Yes.
You had all people who were transgender arguing against the fact that J.K. Rowling will get supported by this because, you know, it's her game. She didn't create it, but she's the creator of Harry Potter.
Isn't that crazy that was the narrative, though, that people are running with?
And it's just ridiculous. They didn't want to support J.K. Rowling. So by someone buying this game, transgender people saying, you're supporting J.K. Rowling, so you're against us, that is just the worst type of person. And all these people are like, I just want to play the game. There's
so many people that were getting destroyed when they were streaming the game.
Exactly.
I mean, like, streamers were genuinely crying, being like, I actually cannot stream this game.
People were just attacking.
Which I find is ridiculous, by the way.
And the game had, like, a person who was trans in the game. So, anyway, all that doesn't make sense. So, you can think, right, you've got that transgender person who is going, this is horrible.
Yeah, an extremist.
Yeah, going nuts. That's their biggest issue. Can we just... What would happen if that person is now in Ukraine with a gun in their hands and they have to go to war? Do you think
against their own will, too?
Do you think that when someone goes, oi, soldier, get on the battlefield, come on, sir, and they're like, excuse me, that's not my pronouns, the guy's going to be like, shut the fuck up and get behind that tree.
Correct.
We are getting shot at.
He is so spot on.
Shut the fuck up. So... Mate, these problems are so minor, but until you go through something that's a lot worse, you're never going to understand that. And people
we just take so much stuff for granted.
And how classic is that comment? Like we would get all the time when we were at home looking through the pantry. Well, kids in Africa, they don't get
that was
anything.
always such a go-to, wasn't it? All the time. Stop wasting water and stuff like that. You're like, oh.
But man, I think if I went a month in one of those countries where I'm begging for food.
Oh, and getting paid sweet fuck all too.
Yeah, it's
like just getting by day to day.
So some people need that reminder. It's like, mate, sit back. You've got it pretty fucking good.
Even when you go to like a Thailand or a Bali, which we've been lucky enough to visit, like you seeing them hustle, like you were saying, like when you were just recently in Thailand, the guy was saying to you,
2 p.m.
like,
to 2 a.m. every night.
That's ridiculous, mate. And then what, you're trying to maybe catch up with like your mates or like support, like see your family as well in between, like...
Mate, I don't think they have
crazy.
like
how?
a social... I can't picture with the amount they work and the amount they do to just support their family. I don't see like a friend catching up
through the whole... And I hate bringing this up, but COVID time. Because people weren't really travelling, like...
Oh, nothing.
That's their business done, man.
Oh, it was. Yeah, people
like,
weren't going over
horrible.
there.
Like, I... Can't even imagine like walking a day, like let alone like a year in their shoes.
Yeah, man. And think of like, geez, there's so many people that have been that have suffered before, and if you're complaining about your issues in front of them, oh, shut up. And don't get me wrong, like I know sometimes people go through their own challenges, but when you put it in the big perspective of life,
put it in the big scheme of things.
Really think about some of the stuff you're going through and go like, well, if I had my problem and I had the option to chuck it in a pile with everyone else's, would I be happy to grab someone else's out? I don't think you would.
Yeah, you're likely to be like, no, mine's actually not that bad.
Wait, give it back. Wait, give it the fuck back.
Yeah, especially when you just hear some of the stories, let alone just seeing what else is happening around the world.
Mate, if my house burnt down today and I lost my job tomorrow, and someone kicked me in the nuts the next day, mate, I'd be shattered. Don't get me wrong. I would literally be so upset, and I wouldn't be able to think about how lucky I am just being in this country alone. But if I think about it, I go, okay, well, I do have another home with my family. Like I can go live with mum or dad. Okay, I lost my job. The amount of jobs that are going out there that actually pay more than mine anyway.
And you're actually someone that's happy to look for work as well, which I feel like is so important. I know we've discussed it time and time again, but you've got the right attitude. And some people just
lazy.
Yeah.
And mate, my nuts will feel better the next day.
Exactly.
There's room for me to restart and go again.
Exactly.
And I listened to, do you know what's interesting? I listened to a podcast where this guy was talking about one of the best stories he ever heard was it was a guy that made a lot of money in the stock market.
Okay.
He made heaps. Yeah. And he got to 50 and he got something to do with getting ordered, or he had something go on with his business where he lost everything. Went down to zero.
Shit.
Literally zero. And then he said to his friends that he had that are a bit higher up, he's like, look, I've got this idea that'll get me back on my feet. I just need investors. Please trust me. I think this will get me off the ground. I'll pay you back 10x, I promise. So he managed to get with his group of friends. They put together $250,000.
Fuck.
$250,000.
That's a lot of money.
And they put their trust and their money into him.
That's such a risk.
And he lost it all.
I thought it was going to be a happy ending.
No, so he lost it all, right? All of it. Then at 80, became a billionaire. So he just kept pushing. He just kept going.
Wow, that's. I wonder if the people that he like owed money at the age of like
paid him back way more. I think he would.
I feel like it sounds like he's that sort of person, but when you have all that money, do you become a bit selfish? Especially at 80, knowing that you probably don't have a lot.
Nah, with that work ethic, I think you get more selfish if you are someone who gets famous, say off music or something, where maybe there's not that much heart, like as much of a grind.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, you could have a grind in the music industry, but it wouldn't be anywhere near as the day-to-day grind someone in a business has. I find that
interesting because often you hear when celebrity or just someone big, it's always like, don't forget where you came from and all that. If you were to like out of the blue just have like all the success, just all this wealth, would you then like in turn be like, you know what, like, yeah, like, you know, parents helped me out, like my brother, like, would you do that, or would you more be like, no, I want to set up my own like empire as such, like buy into like more real estate, I'm going to like set up this, like.
If I had,
granted, obviously it depends on how much wealth you do have, obviously. Like,
yeah, if I had excess of like over 10 mil, yeah, I'd give money to family, probably you and probably my girlfriend. I reckon I'd give like 100K each.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it'd be, you have to be in that position to be able to think about
obviously.
It. Yeah, but it used to be that thing, it's like, oh, I get 10 million, this person's getting a meal, this person's getting a meal. It's like, no, it's too much.
It actually is though.
like
when you
so
really
much.
think about it, like 1 million, like yes, it's still a lot of money, but a lot of properties that are like nice are around that 900,000 to $1 million, and that's without you even like changing up the interior of it. Or like, oh no, I want to do some renovation. Like it actually goes a lot quicker than what I feel. Like if we won the lottery today, it could be 500,000, and you're like, oh my fucking god, I just won. But like in the grand scheme of things, it's not like it's a lot, but it isn't a lot.
You get taxed a fuck ton on
So
it.
I have heard that.
You get taxed. Same with game shows. You get taxed a fair bit on it.
So
But
bullshit.
you know what would be hard too? If for some reason, like you could see if the person who won started giving out money to close family and friends, and you weren't one of the friends, it would be so hard to like take and be like, oh, I'm so happy for him. But I actually spent more time with this person. I actually helped them grow.
Well, how often do you hear
Yeah.
like it's always the people out? It's like, fuck. Sometimes you get along with people with better. Like, sorry, that's the wrong saying. I'm trying to think of the saying where it's like, you may have only known someone for a year, but it feels like you've known them longer than the people that you went to like primary school or high school with. Like you have a better connection. So it would be pretty annoying if like you were best mates with this person throughout primary school, you always stayed in contact, and someone's just recently in the 3 years, maybe like their colleague at work. It's just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like, dude,
Bro.
you legitimately like pissed your pants at my house. Like, what? You're just gonna forget about that?
Do you forget those tandem fucking razor scooter rides we had around the court? I mean, are you kidding me right now? Those were special to me.
Yeah.
They were very special to
I
me.
just forget about them. I see how it is.
Have you been on a razor scooter with Ted? No, I think so. Why is he getting $100,000?
Yeah, you'd be pretty bloody mad.
But the same with girlfriends, though.
Well,
I'll be
that's-
completely honest with you now. If you won lottery tomorrow and you gave money to your missus and not me, I would call
dude,
you out.
yeah,
I
no,
would be
I
like,
feel like you'd have to. I feel like you'd have
I'd
to,
be like,
though.
bro, what the fuck is this?
No, I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Oh, imagine if you win. And I'm just
Hypothetically
like, and I'm
speaking.
just like, bro, let's put a promo on the new TikTok video. And you're like, I don't know, bro, I'm kind of being a bit conservative with money at the moment. I can't shut the fuck up.
You know,
That's another thing. Can you imagine just
if someone like a tight ass.
Oh,
It's like-
I wouldn't be able
Could
to
you
help but be
genuinely-
pissed with you.
Dude, I feel like, because you know me though, man.
Yeah, I do.
In the sense of like, if anything, you'd be like, hey man, can we chat? And it's like, I'd love to, dude, but I'm going to be completely honest. I've actually spent all of it. You'd be like, mate, you haven't even had the money for like a whole day. It's like, I know, I don't know. I just thought, I've got it.
I reckon.
May as well flex it.
Let's put. If you won $1 million, I wouldn't put any changes on you. Say we went out to dinner or something. If you won over $5 million, and we went out to dinner, and I know this sounds bad, but if you didn't shout, I think I would say to you, I was like, hey mate, like I actually got my car serviced last week. I'm about to pay for my mortgage, and a few more bills came out. Like the Coles meal prep is ridiculous, but you also just bought a gold Lionel Messi and a gold Ronaldo statue just cause. You put them in your garage. You're not even using them, and they're pure gold. I
24K,
think you can shout my pizza because you had 3 slices as well. So please, for the love of fucking God, pay up, cunt. Otherwise, we're throwing hands.
Could you imagine just be like, I'm just not going to do it, mate.
Sorry, mate. I got principle. I said I wouldn't let the money change me. And I was like, what's changed me? Please change me.
The restaurant's really hot. It's like, oh, it's so hot in here. Just waving. Like, mate, I'm sweating. Could I just have $1? And you're like, nah, it's just really hot.
Oh, mate, you would actually have throwaway money. I would buy. I think if you had that much, it would go from like browsing Amazon to, let's say, comics. Right, I would have comics for the setup around here. I just thought they'd looked steady. If I had that type of money, it would go from comics to a life-size statue of Batman, and I would get the best one just because I can.
Well, yeah, exactly, dude.
And if you put it in your, it's like a drop in the
But
ocean.
would you not, like, because of what we have here, would you also just be like, fuck, my computer's pretty good, but like, fuck, like,
If I want $5 million,
update
this
the monitor,
would
like-
become like a whole legitimate studio with
soundproof, everything. Like, proper, yeah.
Even though this is all we
This
need.
is awesome.
But that's the thing. If I had the money, I would just
because you can.
I wouldn't be able to
I
help it.
feel like that. I wonder how many people who have come to quick success overnight, like, whether it's YouTubers, Twitch streamers, who are like all of a sudden just had all this money. I wonder what the statistic is where it's like, oh my God, I've got money now. Like,
If
I
they
actually
lose
don't
it?
know. Yeah, like I don't know what to do with
heard,
it. And like the ones that like just spend it too, like they're not smart with it because they've only ever had maybe like a minimum wage job. So like they're saving. It's like, no, I need to save. And then it's like, actually, I've got all this money. Like as long as I stream or continue making, like, it's that. Not that I feel like a lot of the good streamers would be worried about, like, this could actually end one day, but like that's the reality. Like there could be like one day where people are like, yeah, I no longer really like your content. Like I don't really want to watch you anymore, like sort of thing. And then you might have like 1 million concurrent people watching you to then like just like 100,000.
Well, it's like Ninja.
Like it's still sustainable, but you don't live as comfortable as what you once were.
Ninja was one of the biggest streamers of all time, and he was getting so many viewers, like concurrent viewers. Then he made a bag by leaving and going to Mixer, like something like 50 mil. So he's set up for life, and he's already set up. But I would be the same. I would not put as much effort into my streams, and I would do whatever I want if I've got that much money.
You just flick on the camera whenever you choose, and really, people are realistically going to come and watch you regardless. And you've already set yourself up.
You know how you were talking about, I could all end tomorrow. I wonder what happens to those people where you could be streaming and then you might have a bit of a controversy, or a secret gets someone uncovers a secret and they've made a whole documentary video. That's like Colossal is crazy. Is a YouTuber that made videos on specific YouTubers that went for 26 minutes, and this guy was brilliant. Like the way he talked.
To be fair, he took ages to make videos, but the reason why his videos were so good is because of how long they did take to make. He was able to gather so much proper information. It wasn't just like people saying like stupid shit or like, oh, this person's come out with this. It's actually like hard, proper evidence that support all of his arguments.
But every time you release one, people would nearly lose their channels. They would lose their subscribers. They would get hate comments.
Scary.
But I mean, exactly. Imagine having this income and then the next day someone makes a video about you and you lose it all because some people aren't able to get back on track or make a video where it's like, hey, this didn't happen or this is the proof. Nah, so imagine how petty you'd be. I would want to kill someone if they did that to me.
Oh, you'd be furious.
Yeah.
And it's so hard as well because then if you come out to defend yourself, like if you don't defend yourself, people are like, why aren't you defending yourself about these claims? You do defend yourself and people are like, oh, look at how defensive he's getting. Clearly it's true.
Can't
it's like, you can't fuck it. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I either allow you to get away with it and my livelihood, my job's done, or I defend myself and hope that people actually like believe in like what I'm saying.
That's too much of a change. It's too much of a
career risk.
To go to
the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, like just like that. It'd be even worse as well. Like you've fallen asleep like that night. Like, oh, what an amazing stream! I love the life. Like I love the house. I mean, and then the next morning, you're just social blade if people still even use that, and you see like minus like fucking 500, and you're like,
imagine the heart drop.
No, what's going on? Like,
yeah. I saw like
I don't understand.
When we'll finish with this in AEW, when the wrestling promotion where CM Punk joined, he had a falling out in the locker room. He had like a punch up with, I think it was the Young Bucks, and there was a heap of drama going on there. Cody Rhodes said like he woke up to like 80 texts, like he was just, and the minute, imagine not knowing what's going on and then seeing a notification of like, not emails, like legitimate texts, and be like, hey, did you see this? Oh my God. I would freak out. I'd be like, oh my God. Somehow my dick picks out. Something's happened.
Yeah,
like,
what is
fuck is going on?
I remember, I don't know how a celebrity could do that.
Dick pics?
No. Well, like just like with the notifications going off on their phones like crazy.
Oh, I did.
Because, dude, I've only ever had it happen once, and it's because I actually slept through a whole entire shift at work. I had like 26 missed calls, like 18 text messages, like a couple of Facebook things, and like a couple of and I was like, oh my God, why is my phone blowing up? And that was just because I slept in for work.
26 calls?
Yeah. There was like, I think maybe like 12 from like the actual like store manager.
Could they not get into the store because you were...
Well, I did have the store keys on me, but like the next person had to come in. So the shift was like an 8 to like 12 shift, and I woke up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, okay.
Which, by the way,
oh my God,
by the way, that should have been realistically that should have been a sack. I would say that's a fair enough sackable offence.
Oh, not sackable, but full on warning and like,
dude, riddle me this,
mate. People fake sickies. What's it like? You've just like accidentally slept in.
I then became the assistant manager of that store.
the next day.
Not the next day. Like, probably like, in all seriousness, maybe like 6 months later.
And I slept in even harder.
Oh, I was notorious for sleeping in.
Oh, you were. But that's why I thought it was like an hour or 2 hours. I'm like, 26
No, it was
overdue.
it was a whole.
People probably thought you were
entire
dead.
shift. Well, I think that's more because I had a mate who stayed the night as well, and he woke up and he walked past. Because you know how like I'm very good at doing the whole like hear the alarm, I wake up, but I'm not like awake.
Yeah.
And then I put myself back to sleep. He walked past, he's like, hey, mate, I'll see you at work. And I was like, yeah, no worries. And I just went back to sleep.
2 p.m., that's
and then
nuts.
It's ridiculous.
What was the initial feeling when you saw 2 p.m.?
Oh, just instant, like, heart sink. Like, I wanted to vomit. I remember going into work with the keys. This could be another story for just another part.
I'll save it. Promo people. Make sure to watch the next episode. This was Morokai 2 Eyes. We'll see you next one.
Boom.